Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful people. I hope you are all well on this wonderful Wednesday, the midweek hump. You're looking amazing, by the way. You must enjoy a good hump day. And don't we all? But anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes as in video 2, because this is video 2. Did you see video 1? If not, go check it out after this one. After this one, not now. Hold your horses. But yes, we're talking about Jennifer Crumbley. As yesterday, I know we did a live yesterday and we was doing a bit of a verdict watch, but sadly I had to bail because I just couldn't wait any longer. I had stuff to do. I'm gradually getting sorted, and no doubt it's going to cost me even more money because every single thing that seems to be going wrong at the moment just costs more and more money. Anyway, I digress, ran over. And yes, back to Jennifer Crumbley, as she was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. And before I go any further, this video is going to, like many, split the room. Because even though I see elements in Mrs. Crumbley that is neglectful, you know, she was neglectful, 100%. But the argument here, in my eyes, is that there is not a written law that dictates a standard of parenting. You have to keep your child safe, certainly. You can't let anything happen to them, can you? Because surely if your neglectful ways result in your child coming to harm, then you should be punished for it. Or should you? Because if that's the case, if we're saying that there is indeed a standard of parenting, then what about Don and Candace Bly in the Summer Wells case? Surely their neglectful ways resulted in harm coming to their child. Michael Vaughan, for instance, disappears, vanishes, and he disappears and vanishes because the parents were neglectful. And I know, some of you don't want to hear it, but ultimately a latch on a gate out the way, out of the reach of a 5-year-old child doesn't cost much, and it's not rocket science, especially when you've had previous shots over the bow, so to speak. We could go on and say about the Kylie Rodney case. In fact, she was... Hold on 1 second. Can you stop squeaking that? He's a little git. So Kylie Rodney case, you know, there was things in that situation that shouldn't have happened. She was driving illegally, she was drinking illegally, and ultimately her parent, knew what was going on. Don't tell me that you're naive enough to believe that her mum did not know what was going on. And again, all of these things go hand in hand, where a parent being neglectful or turning the other cheek and allowing their young teen, if you like, to do things that put them in danger results in harm coming to them. And I know this is a different situation. I know that some of you are going to come at us in comments and be like, no, these are completely different cases. But no, what we're talking about is a standard, a written standard, a legal standard of parenting. Because that's what we're saying. We're saying that Jennifer Crumbley failed in parenting. Now, the crime has already had a punishment by way of the perpetrator in the shoot, and had already been jailed, imprisoned. So this is to try and prove a point, to try and make a point, and let's not make no bones about it. This is passing the buck. That's what this is about. This is not addressing the real underlying issue here, and that is that there is a massive underfunding in the mental health world. People don't understand it, there is stigma around it, and things are not being dealt with. But this is about passing the buck. This is the government's opportunity to say, look, if you don't sort your child out, if you don't keep them in check, then there is a risk for you being punished. There's a risk of you being held accountable for the things that they do. And this is the room splitter, you see, because I don't feel that parents should be solely held responsible for the demise of a child when there is mental health issues involved, when ultimately that wouldn't have been rectified. There was no rectification for that. Could Jennifer Crumbley and Mr. Crumbley, who is now going to no doubt go down the same route and be found guilty himself too, I guess so. Could they have prevented this? They certainly didn't help it, 100%. They didn't help it, but could they have realistically prevented it? Could they have prevented it? Or would this crime would have happened anyway? The young adult had made their mind up what they were going to do, and they carried out this heinous act. It was facilitated in part by the parents, but unknowingly. You're not telling me that they knew what was going to happen, because I don't believe that for 1 second. Some of you might turn around and say, well, that's ignorance. They should have known. But really? You're saying that the parents absolutely knew that their child was going to go on to do this heinous act? Because I feel that if they knew their child was going to do this heinous act, there'd have been a different, there'd have been a different way that it would have been handled. But realistically, how could it have been handled? What facilities are there genuinely out there to help and help quickly? And again, this might come I might say some of the things I say because there is an ignorance. And I know that there's going to be some people who say that I'm ignorant, but I'm not ignorant to mental health. For those of you who have been around the channel for some time, you will know that I have lost a parent due to mental health. I have lost friends because of mental health. I've seen people lose their lives multiple times due to mental health issues. And when people say that mental health doesn't exist and this man-up mentality, it's no different than what we're seeing in the Crumbley household. That is the bigger problem. That is the issue here, is so many people's thought process is that just crack on, get on with it, man up. Are you joking? Under this table, you wouldn't know, right? But under this table, I keep having to take away squeaky toys. And I've got about 4 under my foot, and he keeps grabbing more and more. Look, Marley, come here. Where are you? Marley. Now he's trying to hide. Little shit. But yeah, like I say, I know this is a bit of a room splitter. It's a difficult one. Hey, coming up. Come on, then. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, you know, it is a difficult one. It is a hard one. There's no easy fix. There's no quick fix. But I do feel that this is government's passing the buck. This is like they don't know how to deal with it. They can't handle it. They don't know how to. They're not doing it. They'd rather pump funding into other things like weaponry, military, and all this sort of stuff, but they don't want to tackle mental health. But now this has put a noose round parents' necks. And where's it going to end? What is this going to set a precedent for? What, parents now scared if their children start, you know, acting a certain way, being a certain way, and what do they do? Are the governments really now going to start supporting parents then fully and giving them conduit to help and rapid conduit to help? Because I'll tell you what, this is going to escalate more and more. We're going to see more and more of this. How many would-be killers are out there? And how many perhaps not would-be killers, but parents are now going to be too scared to not act and not do things for fear of being held accountable should their child do something. Are they going to be side-eyeing their children from now on? I don't know whether this has been a good thing. Again, I know that they should have been held accountable for some of the elements of what happened. But involuntary manslaughter, when the perpetrator of the crime has already been imprisoned, do you know what I mean? It seems to me that was a bit of a stretch to go for involuntary manslaughter and to find her guilty. And I know that some people feel that that's warranted because of the neglectfulness, the ignorance of it. But again, show me in law that dictates a genuine standard of parenting. You know, is there a parenting book that says you must do this, you must do that? This is how parenting is. This is how it should be. Parenting 101. Because if that's the case, then start holding other fucking parents accountable. The ones where their children come to harm. In the UK, for instance, the McCann family. Irrelevant of what happened to Madeleine, we've all got ideas of what happened to Madeleine McCann, but ultimately it wouldn't have happened if her parents weren't on the piss and left their children alone. But how can you hold one parent accountable in such a way, but then other parents can walk away scot-free? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I just don't, and I don't know where this what direction this is now going to go in and what the repercussions of this is going to be. Let me know down below how you feel. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts and feelings. I'm now going to go and hide about 400 squeaky toys. Wish me luck. And I'll catch you all on the next one.